it feels so effortless is a testament to Ty Westerman, if you will. And maybe you won't, I don't know. And
I won't be partaking.
You're still listening. This is our final transmission.
We're here. Welcome to the Final Transmission podcast. It's me, Sam Russo, and it's your friend and mine, the hungover master himself, Jamie Carruthers. How you doing, Jamie?
I'm doing all right. When we started recording for the Patreon content 30 minutes ago, I was feeling a little bit under the weather, but chatting nonsense about Fear and the band Fear, not the feeling that you get inside yourself when something is scary.
The feeling you have right now.
Yeah. And running and our weekend plans with you has imbued me with the sort of life that you need on a Sunday morning in order to maybe eventually at some point go outside.
That's good, because it's just made me angry and bored. So let's...
Well, that's nice. That's nice of you to say.
I'm just trying to vibe with the audience, Jamie. It's how they feel. So
they didn't feel
on their level.
Hear it. If you want to hear it, you can go to our Patreon. It's patreon.com/Final Transmission Pod or something like that. Maybe Final Transmission. I don't know.
Good work from you. I think you're still pissed.
I'm not. I'm pissed at you for suggesting that you're annoyed by having to have a normal conversation with me for 30 minutes.
I can't hack it, mate. I can't do it. What time was your last drink? I sound like a cop.
My last drink was I finished my last drink at 3 a.m.
Then you're drunk, bro. You're totally drunk.
That's nonsense. That was 7 hours and 12 minutes ago.
Yeah, you're battered. So, not our first drunk episode, but probably our best. Probably going to be our best. Today we're talking about the 2009.
Yep.
Correct.
Just
checking. The House of the Dead by Ty West, a man
House of the
who
Devil.
needs no introduction. What did I say?
Dead. House of the Dead is an Uwe Boll film based on the games, right?
Yeah, House of the Dead is better. House of the Devil.
Bad.
Ty West. He's made a bunch of movies.
He has.
Everyone loves him.
It's his second appearance on the podcast, but first as a director.
Oh, what was our other appearance?
He was in You're Next. He was in You're Next.
Of course. So here he is, popping up, writing, directing, editing.
Yeah, this is the movie that put him on the map, I think. Like
the map.
When I saw this, there were a few people who had seen or were aware of The Roost, which is his first sort of feature. But most people, this is their introduction into the mind of Ty West, who's obviously gone on to have a very big career, making stuff like X and Pearl and Maxine.
Quite the little career you're having yourself.
Yeah. I like Ty West.
Which I'm sort of surprised by, to be honest.
Really?
Yeah.
Why does that surprise you?
It feels, for me, and again, maybe this is just me mischaracterizing your taste, but it feels a bit like try-hard hipster bullshit, which you normally just sort of bin.
Did we not just have a 20-minute conversation about me bringing my gooseneck kettle to Manchester Punk Festival last year? Like,
peak, in fact, pinnacle try-hard hipster nonsense bullshit. But you're very good at being that person, but dismissing it in art forms and bypassing it in all other walks of life, which is the ultimate hipster move, right? To be the thing that you most detest. But so Ty West, for me...
Yeah, hello, I'm Sam Russo.
Exactly. Wholly dismissible from the Jamie Carruthers pulpit in a lot of ways. But you like Pearl. I remember you saying you loved X.
I did love X. I've not seen Maxine. I thought Pearl was peaks and troughs, but I overall it aired on the positive.
Yeah. And this is like the lower budge end of his spectrum thus far.
I think also like part of liking X and Pearl and The Sacrament and like some of his other movies that he made. I mean, I love The Sacrament. I think it's great. Is that like I am on board with him because I love well, spoiler alert, but I love House of the Devil so much
Yeah.
that like
yeah. So that sucks you in, and the rest
the rest is just
files in behind.
kept me going. Especially like
Yeah.
the vibe of this, which obviously we'll get into, is very much a vibe that I like. And similar to last week, I saw this at Fright Fest. I saw this at Fright Fest in 2009. So I saw it with a big audience. Ty West was there. We had some talks and chats, and like he's a nice guy. So I buy into his whole shtick because he was, nice to me for a 20-minute conversation in a pub.
Nice. Maybe this is who you really are then. You do like nice guys who make good films. Maybe it's not all trauma and the most hardcore pornography on earth. Maybe there's a shred of humanity left in there, Jamie. This could be a big step for you.
Just while you said that, remind me later to talk to you about what I watched yesterday. Like off the podcast.
Okay, can do. So, House of the Devil has Greta Gerwig in it.
It does have Greta Gerwig in it.
Kind of gone on to have herself a little bit of a career.
Yeah. Also, Lena Dunham is in there as doing a voice.
Yeah. What voices? She's the phone.
She's the.
She's the phone.
She's the emergency services person.
The emergency. Phone. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. But I mean, I've already seen this. Again, no spoilers. But I went to watch this, and it did the thing on Amazon where it says start again, and I was like, oh fuck. I guess I had no memory of it. Well, I had one memory of it when it happened. I realized I remembered some of it. But Tom Noonan, who obviously it goes without saying we love.
We absolutely love Tom Noonan. I was looking back at Tom Noonan's career and was like, oh, he wasn't in as much as I expected, as much as I thought. He has the presence of one of those sort of ubiquitous actors, and I think it was like just a few choice roles that really like put him right in my brain. I mean, mostly
I had the exact same experience.
Mostly Last Action Hero, which I unabashedly love incredibly lots. Incredibly lots.
Incredibly lots. Definitely Last Action Hero. For me, the most iconic is probably X-Files and also Monster Squad. But there's like you said, he's had like a massive impact in a few notable roles and not an enormous amount outside of it that is on my radar. At least he's had a fucking crazy career. But yeah, I really, really, really like him, and I was very excited when he first popped on screen because I didn't remember the movie. So you watched this on a range of media, correct?
Yeah. So for the pod, I watched it on my high def 4K television, and it was fine. And then I watched it on my Combi VHS TV player because I have a Metrodome promotional VHS, and I believe there are only 15 of those in the PAL format. I mean, I know that they've now released it properly, which has annoyed me. But when I got that, I believe there were only 15 PAL released House of the Devil VHSs in the UK.
How'd you get your greasy hands on that?
From the Fright Fest guys, I think they got a couple of them, and I asked for one, and they gave it to me.
They just gave them away to the sexiest boys. Ty West directed some episodes of Wayward Pines, which was a show that I thought was going to be brilliant based on about 46 seconds of the first episode, and then went completely to shit about 9 minutes in somehow. Just the steepest, hardest drop-off of any TV show I've ever seen.
I've never seen it. No, is it? It sounds like they're pitching for a Twin Peaks sort of place.
And that's what I was hoping for. Not that we need it, but if it's going to be Matt Dillon and it's going to be a more polished, much more modern, derivative version of Twin Peaks, it could be, at least vaguely entertaining. But holy fuck, was it complete dump?
Yeah, that's fair.
A ringing endorsement.
He directed a bunch of episodes of like a bunch of different things, right?
Yeah, I think he just did the rounds, did a whole bunch of crap, whole bunch of junk, and then obviously he was like, well, do you know what? Fuck this. I'm going to do my own movies, and they're going to be good.
I think like making low budget movies is quite hard, like in terms of like raising the funding and doing all this stuff. And so like probably he was like, this is hard and I don't want to do it, or this is hard and I need to make some money while I do that, so I will direct basically whatever
comes my way.
Yeah.
You like Cabin Fever 2, right?
I love Cabin Fever 2. I really, really do.
Well,
We're going to record it. We're going to do it on the pod at some point.
Oh, nice. More Ty West. Holy cow.
Yeah. I mean, I love Cabin Fever 2. When he was at Fright Fest and he was talking about this, he'd already made Cabin Fever 2 and was complaining about it being butchered by the people that, by the studio, basically.
Right.
And that he had made it deliberately very, very silly and like very over the top and like done some stuff that we'll talk about when we do talk about that movie, because I know how much he liked to go in blind. And he was very down on it. So I went in with quite low expectations for Cabin Fever 2 and I love it. I bloody love it.
And you loved it.
Yeah, and I love The Innkeepers. I think The Innkeepers is great. I think The Sacrament is great. His like more mainstream content. Sorry, mate. I just shouldn't call your movies content. His more.
Sorry, mate.
His more mainstream movies now. I'm less interested. I still like them. I liked X, but I didn't rate Pearl. And I've had Maxine in a format that is available to me to watch for no money, and I still haven't watched it yet. So
Right.
So that's that's that.
Well, let's talk about the glory days then. House of the Devil. Would you like to synopsize this film?
Yes, I would. I would love to. So Samantha is a college student in a small town. Can't remember if we know where the town is.
I don't think it's specifically named.
And she is looking to move into a new massive house in the year that I believe is 1983, based on my research.
It is.
Do they say, hey, it's 1983 at any point?
Nope, but it's in the blurb of the film.
Okay. I figured it was 1983 because that song by The Fix comes out in 1983.
Nice.
So Samantha is a college student who is struggling for money. She needs to raise $300 to put a deposit down on an apartment or a house or whatever it is. And she takes a job babysitting. She finds a babysitter needed poster. She pulls off the little slip of doodah, calls them, and ends up on this babysitting job. But things, Sam, aren't quite what they seem. This is no normal babysitting job. Things are screwy. That's the synopsis of the movie. She's got a friend who's Greta Gerwig. That's it. That's the movie.
She's got a roommate who's top shagger of the year.
Yeah. It
Worst
stars
roommate ever.
Jocelyn Donahue as Samantha. You got Tom Noonan as Mr. Ullman. You've got Mary Warrenoff from your favorite Rock and Roll High School as Mrs. Ullman, Greta Gerwig, and then also AJ Bowen, who also was in You're Next, and Dee Wallace, the bit of celebrity cameo stunt casting that you've got to do if you're making a horror movie in the late 2000s.
You have to do that, do you?
Yeah. It's like a rule that you have to have
It's a rule.
like a horror legend in a tiny role for no good reason.
In an absolutely unnoticeable role.
Yeah.
Well, shit, man. Why don't we break one off here briefly, and then we can come back and you can tell us what you really think.
Okay, I'll tell you what I really, really think.
Whoa, holy shit. I guess that's why they call it Phantom Power.
Hey Sam, I'm back. Are you back?
I never went anywhere. I've been here the whole time.
Okay, that's cool. So, Ty West, I get the impression that you think he's a douche.
No, wouldn't go that far. I can't guzzle the Kool-Aid quite the way everyone else seems to have. Like, I get it.
Is that a reference
it's
to The Sacrament?
nostalgic. Yeah, exactly.
Have you seen The Sacrament? It's really good. It's like it's a Jonestown. For anyone that doesn't know,
Yeah,
it's a good movie. Found footage movie about
pretty good.
Jonestown.
Yeah, Claire's a big fan of that whole story and has read all the books and stuff, so we watched that. It is good. Like, this is an entertaining film. There's some great tension, some cool performances, and but there's always something with these nostalgia fests that just leaves me a bit cold. It feels a bit gimmicky. It doesn't feel like it comes from a place of genuine love of an era enough. For me, it just feels a bit like, here's an aesthetic. Like, it's just a look.
I mean, I agree with you on the most part, but I think that this movie doesn't do that. I don't think House of the Devil does that. I think that it feels so effortless in its nostalgia and the fact that it like looks and plays like an early 80s movie that it doesn't like. This is a couple of years after Grindhouse. That was 2007. So like Death Proof and Planet Terror. And Planet Terror is fun, but it doesn't really nail the aesthetic, and it is a silly time. Whereas Death Proof is a bit more. It takes the nostalgia of it quite seriously. And then like we got a bunch of like people doing shorts off the back of that, and people being like, "Oh, the technology exists that we can like make our movie look old." But like people weren't doing it in features for a while after this. So this is like one of the first like low budget movies that really in this time period at least that really nailed on both the nostalgia for in the storytelling and also like actively conveys what it felt like to watch one of those movies. There are a couple of things that yoink me out of the time period, but I think that like for the most part it's really effortless in how, or it appears effortless. I bet it fucking wasn't. Obviously, you're making a movie to try and make it look like it was filmed in the early 80s, using the same 60mm film stock that they were using, and they're trying to match the shots so you're not using modern techniques, and there's loads of like zooms and stuff like that. It's I bet it was a real slog, and I think that for me, the fact that it feels so effortless is a testament to Ty Westerman, if you will, and maybe you won't, I don't know, and
I won't be partaking.
And I think it's a testament to how well he knows that source material and how well he knows the vibes of the era, and whether that's through loads of research or just absorbing it through watching a million classic movies.
Osmosis research.
Yeah, like I think that's my ultimate big plus of this movie, is that it just like, I like the story, I like loads of stuff about it, but like ultimately the best thing about it is how effortless I think it feels.
Isn't that bizarre? Like, you think it comes across as totally effortless, and I think what ruins it for me is how contrived it is. Isn't that weird? Because it reeks of all that effort to me. It's a very contrived aesthetic. It's a very specific decision, and it's executed in a way that feels, I don't know, like Lego almost. I don't know. There's just something about it that yonks me out of it basically the entire time.
When I saw it at Fright Fest, when I saw it for the first time, the crowd went insane when the title card came up. They were like, "What the fuck is this? Like, this is so accurate, and like the vibes are so on point." Sorry, you were in the middle of saying something. I cut you off.
No, I like that title sequence. There's loads of stuff like that I enjoy, but it doesn't. Maybe it's just it's obviously a fandom thing, but that doesn't get me out of my seat and make me go nuts. I just think, well done. That's a good aesthetic. It's not like,
I think in 2025,
it's not gonna make me go bananas.
People are doing that in their sleep. They can press a button on their iPhone and it will make it look like a grainy old VHS. Like,
sure. And people are doing that. Oh boy, are they doing that.
Exactly.
I mean, all of that being said, I really like the story as well. I mean, it's fucking made to measure for us guys, right? In terms of what it's actually about and how it works. I do think there's huge periods of it that feel laboured. Like, just for a 90-minute movie, it feels way too long.
So I was going to ask you about this. I think that, again, this is me doing the thing where I give a filmmaker credit for something that maybe they did or didn't do. But I think that it's kind of boring on purpose, because it's evoking that weird disappointment that you feel when you pick up a really horrible looking VHS from the video shop and you go home and you put it on, and then nothing happens for 90 minutes and then some blood pours out of someone's eye or whatever. Do you know what I mean? Like, I almost think that is part of what's happening. Yeah.
I mean, and I agree, there is an element of, a lot of those old, especially like really bad slashers, there's so much just like wandering around doing unnatural things, like, just walk around and touch things in the house, and all of that does put you on edge. It does really add to the tension in a lot of those movies.
Yeah.
But in this, I think the thing that trips me up mainly is just how absolutely absurdly beautiful Jocelyn Donahue is. And that is the yoink that takes me out of the movie, because how can you have a completely perfect human being in this? The camera is on her the entire movie and she is absolutely flawless.
Yeah.
And that just brings in a little bit of for me. Like, I quite like how Greta Gerwig brings the ick in this movie. Like, she's kind of gross. All her behavior is like pretty rough around the edges, and she's obviously like a bit of a comic foil, but not really.
She's doing like the PJ Souls role, right?
Exactly. So, yeah, she's PJ Souls to the max. Yeah, but like everything she does is kind of caricaturish and kind of dumb, and I enjoy that. That kind of brought back some of that edge. Tom Noonan brings it in spades because he is
incredible. Like,
he's doing in this movie, he's acting for Cannes in this movie. He's in a different film, which is obviously fantastic. But I just think, and again, I'm not making some fucking weird comment on, casting or whatever, but I just think if your 80s nostalgic grainy VHS movie has like fucking the most gorgeous woman in the world as the star, that's an immediate yoink for me. I'm just not in it when she's on screen.
So I think
it's a weird point to make, but I don't know. Maybe that resonates in some way.
I agree that she's incredibly beautiful, but I think she's cast because, I mean, she's a good actor as well. But I think like she is cast because with minimum effort, you can make her look like a person who was in movies in 1983. Do you know what I mean?
You can make her look like a person with minimal effort. Yeah. Like, she's got a very classic look.
Yeah, and I think like as much as House of the Devil is inspired by like the Grindhouse movie and the sort of trend that was building up about these sort of throwback movies, these sort of nostalgia, stylistic sort of pastiche movies. I think more than that, I think that this is more heavily inspired by Wet Hot American Summer and Freaks and Geeks, which I guess were the things that were like, you can do this and you can make people who look like very contemporary actors look like they're actually in the 80s by doing these set of tricks. And like,
just give them orange headphones.
And
pull their waistline up a little bit.
Yeah, and Jocelyn Donahue, I mean, she could absolutely be in both of those things. She could easily fit in Wet Hot American Summer and easily be in Freaks and Geeks. She just has that look. Like, when I look at Linda Cardellini, I don't think like to me she looks like a very 2010s woman. But like in Freaks and Geeks, you could absolutely just buy that she's in the 70s. Like it's really magic, and I think that's what Jocelyn Donahue brings here, is that like she just looks like a real person that existed, incredibly beautiful, like a real movie star that could have existed in the early 80s.
Yeah, there's an element of, maybe the element of cleverness. I do think she's great in this. I think she obviously has to carry the entire movie.
Yeah.
She's on screen alone for so much of it. And especially what's amazing in her performance is she's on screen for so much of it without an active antagonist and is scaring the fuck out of you the entire time.
Yeah.
She delivers a fucking awesome performance. But maybe the cleverness is that she looks like almost like an undiscovered 80s movie star who's about to get big in this, which I think is quite cool. Again, maybe we're reading into things that aren't deliberate. But yeah, it's just a yoink for me in any movie where you're that's the thing about Linda Cardellini. Like, you said when you look at Linda Cardellini, you see her as like believably 70s. When I look at Linda Cardellini, I can no longer speak or think. And so I find her so otherworldly attractive.
That's so different
I find
to me.
it hard to watch her act.
But I think because I watch the fucking Marvel movies, right? And she's married to fucking...
Oh, I don't watch any of that shit.
She's married to Jeremy Renner's character in those. And like, obviously Jeremy Renner is... in the real world, probably quite a good-looking guy, but in movies, he looks like my fucking Uncle Pete. So, do you know what I mean? So, like, seeing her married to him makes her feel accessible in some way.
Ridiculous. Yeah. Even just thinking about her, I've stopped doing the podcast. So, despite all these gigantic yoinks, as far as I'm concerned, I still think I think where the line is that I find it a really entertaining movie. It must be so forgettable for me to have watched it when it came out and have fucking no memory apart from Greta Gerwig getting her face blown off. That's the only bit that I remembered. As soon as she drove into that, which is a great little moment when she drives into the fucking cemetery, I was like, oh, I remember this film.
Yeah.
That scene must be the outstanding moment for my brain.
I think that's the outstanding moment for a lot of people. Like it's
a real surprise.
The best moment of the movie as well. And like the way that it comes completely out of left field. And like it's that thing where it's like, obviously this is going to happen. And then also like, oh God, I didn't realize that was going to happen. And the idea that like, because it happens so quickly, your brain can have those two thoughts simultaneously. Yeah,
all you're expecting is Victor to start grabbing her or to get in the car and do something weird. And he just blows her face off.
Yeah.
And she's been established as Samantha's only hope at that point. Like the only person looking out for her, the only person who even knows she's there, the person who's going to be picking her up. We think at that point she might even just go back and stay with her the whole time. And then blammo, no more face. But the setup for that is what was really memorable to me. Driving into the cemetery was a really cool shot, and I thought that whole little set piece was very fun. So
the effect is incredible.
Yeah,
like the split second you see of like the head with a massive hole in it is it's just perfect.
Yeah, it's great. It's got to be like a scooped out fruit of some kind. There's no way that's like anything else. There's so much about it that feels like hipster bullshit to me, but I still really enjoyed watching the movie because that appeals to a big part of me.
Yeah, I think so. Like similar to Your Next, like Ty West is part of this like hipster horror cabal.
Oh God, what a horrible concept! A hipster horror cabal. No, thank you.
So Tom Noonan is the hero of this movie. We can all agree that he is.
That performance is so unsettling and so evocative, and just because that could be so arch, couldn't it? He could be so Vincent Price in that role, like, and he's not. He's like a little beaten dog. Yeah,
he's like an old guy with a cane and a brown suit. Like that is
60 feet tall somehow.
Like that is easily a Vincent Price role. Like that is easily like one of those 60s guys like doing a very, very arch, over the top type thing. And
if you were just doing the movie for the bucks, and you would default to that immediately, wouldn't you? Be like, I got this movie to do at the weekend, I need to be Vincent Price. Or just, and he doesn't. He goes the complete opposite direction, takes it somewhere totally unexpected, and for my money, like wholly original. Yeah,
he's so scary without doing anything. Just like, oh, come and babysit for me. Why am I shitting my pants right now? Jesus Christ.
Immediately splatting my drawers. Again, the subtlety of the horror in this is a lot in the tension. It's a lot in what you don't see, obviously.
Yeah.
And that is, for my money, the best kind of horror. So what Tom Noonan brings in terms of like menace and strength of performance is such a beautiful counterpoint to Jocelyn Donahue's basically one-woman show for most of the movie.
Yeah.
Because he somehow just amplifies the tension and the pressure every time he's in a scene.
Yeah.
So they work really well together, I think. And because they come from such different places in terms of their performance, there's a real richness to them together on screen that's fun.
I think the same with Mary Woronov as well. Like the fact that her counterpoint to Tom Noonan's like Mr. Ullman character is, it's so like tightly written and really well acted.
Yeah,
I think like it just must have been a really good script that they could easily like jump into, because I would assume that there was minimal anything before.
What you mean in terms of like rehearsal and pre-production and stuff? Yeah, I bet they never even fucking met.
Yeah, I bet like all the pre-production is getting the look and the shooting style and the production design to make everything look like it's a movie from the 80s rather than the performance. Because besides like how Jocelyn Donahue looks and Greta Gerwig looks, the performances don't feel like 80s performances.
No, that is true, and I guess I kind of struggle with that a little bit. But I'm guessing you think that's part of the fun.
Yeah, I mean, they just don't feel like 80s cheapo horror performances, and that's
right.
That's fine by me, because that's the worst thing about 80s cheapo horror is the fact that no one should ever be in front of a camera ever again. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, your one crime against cinema. Get Out. Yeah, I have mixed feelings about it because when it's so bad, it's good. It's obviously wonderful.
Yeah.
But that's so rare. It's so rare that it actually works that way. I think I would much rather have performances of this caliber in shit movies than I would the other way around.
Absolutely.
And that's why so much of this hits.
Yeah, imagine if like we go into fucking Edge of the Axe, right? And the performances are, even if they're not good, they're people trying.
Yeah, the movie is amplified 50 times in terms of quality.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like it's
even if, take actors who can act like this crew and put them in Friday the 13th Part 6 and you've got a watchable movie immediately. Yeah. It makes such a difference. And these are people who have at least, maybe not all of them have grown up in that era of cinema, but have all watched those movies as part of their lives as actors and have taken the bits they like and binned all the shite. And thank fuck for that. Like, this wouldn't work if it was a so bad it's good movie, because like you said, it's a real passion project. It's about the good parts of those horror movies, with a big heaping of aesthetic to really get the nerds frothing. And I think that's totally admirable.
Yeah. Do you want to hear the things about it that I don't like?
Yeah.
There are only a few. So
is one of them the music?
No, I think the music's great.
Oh, I didn't know where you'd land on that.
Yeah, no, I like the music. So number one, the pizza that they say is gross looks like the greatest pizza that ever existed.
Oh, it looks so good. But that's all about foreshadowing, isn't it, really?
Yeah. But
still, like...
The poison pizza...
Put a bad pizza there.
Yeah. The poison pizza that she eats later, the drugged pizza, like, also, I would eat that. I don't care that it's drugged. It looks amazing.
Absolutely. It probably tastes like drugs, which is the only way to make a pizza better.
Yeah, she did say no to extra anchovies, so why did they still give her drugs? The thing that irks me the most is I love the final culmination of all the horror and all the shit that happens in that last 5 minutes. I think that's great. The thing that I don't like is the facial prosthetic on Mother.
Right.
Or the demon.
Because it looks like Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Yeah, because it looks like something from 2009.
Yeah, like, it's so stupid.
It would be so easy to make something that looked timeless.
Yeah.
That didn't...
It'd be scarier if it was a crone. Just give me a crone.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be a mutant. Like, what the fuck?
Like, scars on the face or whatever. It doesn't have to be this demonic, like, weird grey alien type look.
Yeah.
That's my biggest issue with it, is that
the like brain invasion flashes of that character are quite scary.
Yeah.
But not as scary as they could be, like you said. I think if you put a crone on a moving platform with wheels and have her like hover in like fucking old Dark House style.
Yeah. Or
that would have shit me up more.
What's it called? House on Haunted Hill.
Yeah, or just like a Snow White type witch character. Like, give me that any day of the week. But yeah, I see why they were doing that and where they were going with it. It ratchets the movie into a different genre almost. It's a total tonal shift to bring in that particular prosthetic, and it was a tricky thing to swallow in such a tight period of time. Cramming in like all the action of this movie into 5 minutes is an interesting choice, but doing it with that ultimate baddie was a little bit strange. I thought. Like, what do you think about the big blammo, the big self kill?
It doesn't make sense in the context of the movie, but I think it's fucking cool. It feels satisfying to me to watch Tom Noonan's character get defeated in such a sort of a sad way. I also think about the way that he approaches the character is that he's not a baddie. He's just he has alternative beliefs or whatever. So like he thinks that he's the good guy doing good guy things, and she's her killing herself. Well, I mean, spoilers, she doesn't die, but like her killing herself is like he's just really gutted. It's not like no, it's like, oh man,
fuck's sake,
this is
got to wait another 3,000 years now. Yeah. So you said you didn't think it made sense in the movie. Do you think is that a character motivation thing for you? Because I was in two minds on this.
I don't believe that Samantha would have the presence of mind to be like, oh, there's a weird baby inside me. If I shoot myself in the head, like maybe I should shoot myself in the stomach, or like I've got the gun. I don't want whatever is inside me to come out. Yeah. If you shoot yourself in the head, you can still poop. Like, things can still come out of you. So,
oh God, Jamie. Yeah.
like, I believe that if somebody was to die by shooting themselves in the head,
Yeah.
medical science could keep their unborn baby alive and bring it to term in some way.
Maybe not like an hour and a half out of town in 83, but
maybe not. But that's my issue, is that, like, if you want to stop the crazy thing happening with your stomach, you don't shoot yourself in the head, you shoot yourself in the stomach. And you still die because you would bleed out.
Yeah. I didn't know where I landed on this, and I think my take is she knows that she has something awful inside her growing, right?
Yeah.
We get that from the veiny belly, and we get all of that subtly. But if it's so horrific that she has to absolutely, fucking blow her entire head off with a gun in a graveyard, I think we need to see a bit more of the horror of that, to be honest. Maybe she undersells that part of the performance a little bit, and that's why it's so jarring. But that might be, that might be deliberate. We're supposed to be shocked and surprised by that decision and that moment.
Yeah, I mean, that's basically, it's just set up for the payoff in the next scene, which is like oh, we thought you were dead, but then you're not dead, and we've saved your baby also. Like,
what do you think of that?
Like,
I was out.
I think it's dumb, but I think it's what's the word? Authentic.
True to genre?
Yeah.
It's too unbelievable for me. It's a bridge too far. And the shit that I've believed on this podcast would fucking turn your hair white. But just that she raises... We've seen the damage that gun does at close range. Blows her entire head off. And then they're just like, yeah, wrap a bandage around it. You'll be all right, mate.
But she might have...
Crack on.
She might have missed. Like... There are plenty of...
She misses. It
like,
blows her fucking brains out the side of her head.
Yeah, but she might have, like... With the recoil and stuff, she might have, like, caught a part of her head where it doesn't blow her entire face off or whatever. So, like,
the expendable part. Yeah. I don't know. It just felt cheap, and I don't like cheap.
I mean, like I say, I think it's authentic and something that would have happened in a real movie that came out in 1983.
It feels like there would be an alternative that would be more satisfying and would be less of a like moment, because like surely even audiences who are literally like fucking sliding out of their trousers at that opening credit sequence, I was seeing that and going, oh yeah, of course. Like, it's too predictable. Like, I get that it's safe and true to genre, but that's not ultimately what this movie was supposed to be about. When I was halfway through it, I thought, oh, they're being a bit risky here. They're doing some stuff that isn't just cut and paste derivative bullshit. It's a big eye roll moment at the end, and I get the eye roll as part of the genre, but there could have been something way cooler there.
There absolutely could, but there isn't. So,
Yeah. I would have just had, like... I'd have been happy if some horrible 80s creepy little, like, slick, darkly coloured fetus just started running around the graves or something out of her dead body. Like, we get Noonan crying or just looking bummed, and then crazy little creepy fetus runs around. I don't know.
Like...
That would have been weirder.
That would have been weird. That would have been a different movie, I think. Like, that's a very Demons thing to do, isn't it?
Yeah, I never thought I'd be sitting here saying, give me more Demons.
Give me Demons. Give me one of the Demons 3s.
Yeah. Was there anything else you didn't like? Because you're pretty much all in on this. You've shoved your chips in.
Yeah, I don't think that AJ Bowen looks like a guy that would exist in the 80s movies.
It just looks like you walked in from 2009. Like, they do nothing to him to make him look cut to fit the movie. He's another yoink for me.
I like AJ Bowen a lot. I think he's great. He's as a guy, like, I don't know him, but as a guy, like, in interviews and like sort of parasocially, I think I like him and his shtick, and he's generally pretty good in movies, and he's good in this. I just don't think that they've like beamed him in from the future. It's like he's fucking Flash Gordon, and he's like coming from another planet.
There's almost something about how he's shot that betrays the entire era. I really can't put my finger on it.
Yeah.
It might be partly how he behaves and partly how he's shot, but he just looks like a Portland hipster who's just wandered onto a film set.
Yeah, it's his beard. Like, his beard is too long.
Yeah.
You have like a short cropped beard, or like a big fucking Grizzly Adams. Like, there's no like my beard now. Like, that's not a thing that you would have had in the in the early 80s.
And who are you, dude? Like, if you're their son, you don't look like that.
Yeah.
Like, you don't dress in that manner, and you don't behave like that. You're the son of a Satanist cult couple who are hyper macabre, classically weird.
Yeah.
And you're just showing up like you're fucking on your way to Trader Joe's for some dry pinto beans. Like, let's try again. Not good, but still.
But, like, he does deliver the best moment in the movie.
What moment's
Are
that?
you not the babysitter? No, blam. Like, it's
Blam. Yeah.
the moment, the mood of the movie changes when he says that, because you're like, oh shit, they just don't care about anybody else.
Yeah, that is a big tonal shift.
And like,
there's a part of me at that point that thinks some of this movie is going to be quite nice. Like, there's going to be some silly bits, and then no, gone in that moment. Yeah, all hope lost.
yeah, the Greta Gerwig AJ Bowen interaction feels a bit weird to me. It doesn't quite gel. There's something like there's like an awkward frisson between their two characters, and like obviously there should be. He's about to shoot her in the fucking head, but like.
No, you just nailed it. Awkward frisson is such a fucking perfect phrase for what happens in that scene, dude. Yeah. I felt the same and didn't have the words. Gerwig for me is she's an interesting aspect of this movie because I find her really unpleasant to be around in the film for the most part and kind of hard to watch, but in a way that I think is totally deliberate and really fucking cool. I think she might be great in this. I'm not sure. And the two of them just don't really gel on screen.
It's a shame that she faded into obscurity. And
yeah, it's a real shame her career totally tailed off and no one gives a fuck about her anymore, right? There's like 50 minutes of this movie that are just the movie happening. And that's cool.
I think the 45-minute section of her just walking around the house, I mean, I don't think it's actually 45 minutes, but like feels like it, is pivotal in making the film work. Because like she's not scared and there's nothing tense happening. We know that there's something creepy upstairs and we know that there are creepy things. We're bookended by creepy stuff, but like her just walking around and like seeing these gigantic fucking red flags and disregarding them instantly, a garbage bag full of family photos and that sort of thing is...
Well, I think she is really scared the whole time. And when she finds those family photos, she does go outside and start investigating and thinking, oh, something's fucky here. So there's moments that feel slightly off kilter within that whole sequence. Like when she just bangs her headphones on and goes nuts around the house for a while. I get that she's breaking the tension and she's trying to unwind a bit and inhabit the space in a way that's less terrifying.
Yeah.
But it doesn't feel like it vibes with everything that's just happened. And I mean, it does lead to the big, she smashes that vase and everyone who's even remotely anal in the entire audience is going, oh my God, you're in so much trouble. And that's fun. But then that's when she finds all the photos and that's when the tone again just dips into another layer of hell where we know she's fucking dead meat.
Yeah.
And she still thinks there's a chance she's going to get through the night with another $200 in her pocket. So I do like what it does. I think it is very fun and it is insanely tense, like teeth-crackingly tense at times.
Yeah.
And that's super fun.
I really like that, like, she is completely unaware of the tension, and that for me, for like a big chunk of that at least, she like, I guess is aware of the tension because she knows that she's babysitting an old woman. And like, but in the sort of risky business dancing around moments and like when she's getting the pizza and stuff, like she is ignoring all of the tension and just trying to be a 19-year-old woman in fucking the Midwest or whatever. Like,
that's 100% it for me. She's aware of it, she's ignoring it deliberately for the sake of the money, and she's trying to normalize it and rationalize it. And I think that's the clever part of the whole movie, basically, is that we know that she is sharp and smart and no fool and knows that this is absolutely fucked from Jump Street, but she's doing it for the money. And that central motivation is really important. Otherwise, she is a rootless idiot, which is what we get in so many slashers of the era. So the fact that she's constructed as a totally believable, intelligent, sharp, principled person in this moment, and that she is just trying to get through this night for the money to get out of her fucking nightmarish roommate situation, is hammered in really early and is done in a really clever way, and I think is not overemphasized. So everything that she does in that house is basically believable and feels like it comes from a place of genuine motivation. So
but it also comes from a movie. It's like She's doing
Yeah.
all the things that we've seen. It's like when you watch a road trip movie and someone's got their hand out the window and they're doing that thing. Like that's
Yep.
just a thing that people only do in movies, or they do in it. But like it feels like a thing that you wouldn't really do, even though like it's not, or even if it is, it's like it's not. It's a contrived thing. So like
Yeah.
her
It's
doing
something
all
you
of
do
this.
when you're trying to be in a movie.
Yeah.
In your real life. Yeah.
So the things that she does, the things that she like wanders around looking at stuff,
Yeah.
all of that. Like I have babysat in my life,
Yeah, me too.
and I didn't occur to me to go and lightly prod around through people's belongings.
No. I would be fucking mortified to do that in someone else's house. Like,
Absolutely.
all I would do is, well, I won't even say what I do, but I wouldn't do that. Holy crap, no.
Yeah.
So House of the Devil, clocking in at a pretty tight 1 hour 35.
Yeah,
I
you think
do
it's a bit
feels-
slow? You think it feels longer?
Yeah, but not in a way that bums me out necessarily, because that whole middle section is totally earning the ending, right?
Yeah.
There's just moments where it could have been for me, there could have been a little bit more happening. It's like, I wouldn't say that jump scares are out of the question for me in that midsection. There aren't really any, but if there were, I wouldn't be too bummed.
We get the phone ringing,
Pizza.
the loudest phone ring I've ever fucking heard in my life,
True, yeah.
and like the knocking on the
Pizza
door.
doorbell. Yeah, maybe what's missing in this movie for me to really absolutely fucking love it and desperately want to watch it again and rate it really highly is something in the end section potentially. I just don't. I can't put my finger on it.
So what I would do differently is that I would quite subtly have the mother character or the demon or whatever it is in the background in a number of shots. So like we feel like she's being watched the whole time. Like while she is
That's what I mean about like
yeah.
creeping behind, like in the background. If you saw that as a shadow,
Like in Long Legs, which I didn't like particularly, there are a number of like quite subtle bits of stuff like that happening, and like that would be and it would elevate the movie when you're watching it, because even if you don't see it, you would feel like she is being watched and like ostensibly like groomed for this horrible purpose, rather than like all this weird stuff is upstairs, and while she's downstairs she's basically immune from it. If she just never goes upstairs, she'll be fine.
Yeah, that's fun in a horror movie trope way, right? If she
Yeah.
just sat in a corner backed against the wall with no windows near her holding a knife, she'd probably get through this shit, because at some point someone would have to come and get her and she could just smash through a window and leg it. So the fact that she doesn't do that is what makes the movie a movie. But yeah, like you said, I would like to see fingernails around a door frame, that kind of thing. That'd be really
And like I think this movie is fairly rewatchable. I've seen it a number of times. I'm a maybe once every 2 years like revisit kind of guy on this movie. So like but stuff like that would make it massively rewatchable, because you'll always be looking behind Samantha to try and see what's there. And when I make a movie, that's going to be I want to cram so much shit in the background.
Yeah.
That like
the background movie. Can I have a cameo, please? Can I be the podcaster that gets beheaded in the first scene?
Maybe.
How awful is it when podcasters are in movies now? Like that Halloween 2018 thing, I think of several egregious things it does, the worst is having 2 podcasters in it. Get fucked to death.
I don't rate it. I think like there are a lot of podcasters out there. Everybody's got a fucking podcast. Cunts.
They're the fucking worst.
And it's like an easy shorthand for like people that talk to each other and also have a vague sense of investigation. So like it's
that's the problem. It should just be a journalist. It should just be a student journalist, and that's it. That's timeless. It doesn't date the movie. It doesn't make everyone go, "Oh, fuck off, you podcaster." Like everyone likes a nosy journalist getting killed, even if you love the journalist. Like that's a fun thing. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, less moaning about podcasters. I think Mary Woronov in this is absolutely pitch perfect as well. It's worth saying. Not in it as much, not in it enough.
I think like
There's
it's
a moment when
it's the perfect amount. Like she, because she is such a counterpoint to Tom Noonan's character, and like makes him seem creepier by extension. Like
also sort of humanizes him a bit though, because I think he's lying about having a wife the whole time, and then she shows up and you're like, oh, okay, so this guy is redeemable in some respect. Like somebody puts up with him, and then she's as crazy as he is. It's good. It's good. Good touch.
Yeah. What were you gonna say about a scene?
The scene where she first comes in, because we're sort of MacGuffined a bit by him going upstairs and talking to who we think is his wife. I thought what was going to happen, even though I'd seen it before, this is how little I remembered. I thought she was going to be the mother character, and she was going to talk to the girl and then disappear, and then he was going to come down with his wife, and we'd be like, oh, shit. But that didn't happen at all.
No.
And that's fine.
That is fine. She's so good. I'm a big...
Yeah, she's wonderful.
Big Warrenoff fan. She's great in
Me too.
Rock and Roll High School, and despite the fact that you despise it because you're a...
I don't despise it. It's just fucking not as fun as it should have been. Again, I can't hate something that had so much potential. You know, Ramones movies should have been Elvis movies. They should have been fantastic.
Yeah.
And that shit is just fucking weak. But she is good in that. You know, she's a really hateable character in that. She's fucking gorgeous. Massive presence. Great character actor chops, and does some really good dramatic stuff.
Yeah. I love a B-movie character actor, and if they are
Same.
also like part of that Corman stable, which she was, I think like the quality is scattershot, but like always interesting, and I think that's she's great. I'm a big fan.
Always interesting is has to be one of the highest compliments you can pay an actor. Like you said, even if the catalog is a little bit hit and miss, come on. Like if you're doing something interesting in uninteresting scenarios from time to time just to make a buck or to take a risk, I think you're smashing it.
I would absolutely recommend to anybody listening the movie Eating Raoul that she was in.
Yeah, I was
Paul
looking
Bartel.
at that when I was researching the movie. It looks fun.
It's like, how would you describe it? Like John Waters light.
Okay.
John Waters, but you don't feel like you need to shower when you finish watching it.
Brilliant. I tell you what, you probably need to shower after you watch is a 2003 R-rated movie called Prisoner Go-Go.
Nice.
Directed by Barack Epstein. A women in prison comedy featuring girls running amok! ! Multiple shower scenes, kung fu food fights, mutant zombies, evil scientists, prominent product placement, and mud wrestling. Starring Mary Warrenoff.
So that sounds like how you feel about House of the Devil and the shtick of House of the Devil. That's how I feel about that. Is that like...
Well, that to me reads like something it's almost unforgivable that you haven't seen. I feel like
so
you don't own that on Laserdisc is weird to me.
I don't really like the throwback stuff like that. That is like super desperately trying to... It's like the Asylum version of this. It's like... It's like a mockbuster version of something that I think can be done interestingly and well. Yeah. Just like throwing a bunch of bad actors in a place and being like, haha, it's like an old movie. Like it doesn't work for me. It's
not as
it's sort of like,
is it?
It's
too dumb.
It's the reason I don't love zombie movies is because like every dick and his fucking dog feels like they can make a zombie movie and use it as a stepping stone into making real movies. And so the fucking path to Hollywood is littered with garbage zombie movies that people will watch because they love zombie movies. And like, it just feels so... I mean, you said contrived about House of the Devil. I think it's contrived and soulless and cynical. Like, if I make a movie and throw enough dumb shit at it, people who like that dumb shit will watch it. And like, I guess that's Hollywood all over. But like movies like that, obviously that's 2003, but like movies like that feel like they're put together by an algorithm.
Yeah, but I totally agree. It's Hollywood all over, but it's also a very real pitfall of genre cinema, isn't it? You know, the fact that you can say, I'm going to make a zombie movie is bad enough as it is. You can't say like, I'm just going to make an emotionally wrought crime drama with enormous amounts of nuance and wonderful character acting. You can't just say that as throwaway. No. But you can say, I'm going to make a slasher. Yeah. So yeah, as soon as you're in that genre territory, you're opening yourself up to the worst of the worst. And it feels almost even more disrespectful to take something formulaic and do it poorly. You know what I mean?
Like when I write screenplays, I start at a point of like, what do I want to say? And how do I say the thing that I want to say? Am I talking about, the crushing inevitability of death? Maybe that means that we'll use zombies. Am I talking about like how you can't trust the people that live on the street with you? Then maybe we'll convey that through slasher. Like, it's all about what I actually want to say, rather than like, I want to make a zombie movie and maybe I can make that be about something.
Exactly. Yeah. Those tropes are tools. Those aspects of those genres can be used to convey different things, and that's why the genre work. That's why a genre becomes entrenched as a genre and not just a one-off, right? Because it can do many things with one vehicle.
But
and
I
that's
think
cool.
the zombie thing is my fault, because I went through a period of basically watching any movie that had a zombie in it, and so I ended up watching loads of shit, cynical movies that people were just making because it's quite cheap to throw some fake blood and put some prosthetics on someone's face and film them running through the woods. Like,
it's the same with anything that gets big, isn't it? Pop punk gets big. Everyone thinks pop punk's dumb and easy. I'll make the worst derivative pop punk imaginable, and I'll be as big as Green Day.
Yeah.
And what a surprise! You're not.
Found footage. Like,
it's a joke. We love Guttermouth here.
But like found footage, like somebody made a found footage film that was really good, the Blair Witch Project, and made loads of money on a $0 budget. And so everyone was like, oh, the found footage is the thing that we should take from this, rather than the making an interesting movie that that doesn't follow the usual tropes and presents the tropes in a different way and has good acting and a different approach to filmmaking. Maybe that's the thing that we should take from Blair Witch Project, rather than, hey, it was cheap to shoot and they used a DV camera, so let's just do that. Like,
it's infuriating.
Yeah. All right. I feel like we've exhausted our House of the Devil beans.
We've wrung out the rag.
So why don't we take a break, come back, and give it the final push over the edge and say goodbye to the nice people.
Good callback to the pusher there. Let's do that.
Yeah.
Will you give it up, man? Nobody's out there. We're alone. Oh no, there's somebody out there. I'm picking up all this crosstalk.
Speaking of crunchy spines, I'm back.
I'm back too.
Well then, let's wrap this fucker up like a delicious breakfast burrito that you're probably going to eat as soon as we stop recording.
I've been thinking about it.
Jamie.
I've been thinking about it the whole time.
I thought you had. Final thoughts, me, you big bad baboon.
No, I will not. Before I do any final thoughts, I'm going to say this podcast is brought to you by Red Scare Industries, a punk rock label that put out records and have good bands, and you should go to redscare.net to find out more about those bands and those shows and those records.
You should. Summer's coming. You know what that means. Loads of bands put out music. They all go on tour. Everyone has a gay old time. Check out redscare.net to find out more.
Yeah. Okay, so I will now bless you with my final thoughts. I've said everything that I have to say about this movie. I love it. I think the vibe, like I said at the very top, is so effortless. It doesn't ever feel, apart from the few things that pull me out, AJ Bowen not looking period appropriate and the prosthetic of the big bad also not looking period appropriate for me. Besides that, I think like the way that Ty West has internalized or the way that Ty West makes it look like he's internalized all of this cinematic language of these movies from this time, like it makes it feel so magical to me that he can just be like, that this is what I would do if I was making this movie in 1980. And like he can do that because they used 16mm Arriflex cameras, so you're already constrained by what the cameras can do, and you're already constrained by, like, I guess you put on these stabilizer wheels on this bike to make it as easy as possible to do quite a hard thing. I mean, maybe he wouldn't describe using a fucking ancient piece of shit camera and grainy 16mm film stock as training wheels, but
it's the easy move.
Yeah, but like putting yourself in that difficult position makes it harder for you to do the things that you would normally fall back on as a filmmaker. Like, you can't be like, we'll do a million takes. I think like the idea that like this has a very low budget, uses an outmoded film stock, and therefore like a film stock that costs money, loads of money, and like there are all the costs associated with it. Like you've got to buy the film stock, you've got to you have a finite amount, and then you've got to get it developed in a specific way, and then you've got to get it blown up. So like that whole process is expensive. It means that you can't do a million takes. So like the idea that like these performances are coming out of these actors and they don't get a million runs at it.
Yeah.
Because they don't have the capacity for you to...
Well, you're burning daylight the whole time. You're there. Like, time is money. The film stock's expensive. All of it's like heightened. Get this right, please, first time, or else. Like
exactly. I mean, it just makes it, I think, more impressive. And like I can... Apart from like the things that I've said, like this movie could easily have just come out in 1983, and we would be talking about it still. At least we would. So
yeah, if your biggest criticism of a movie is that one dude doesn't look like he's from the time period, that's a pretty good batting average in terms of the whole movie.
Yeah, I mean, I love the way that it builds the tension. I love the way that it punctuates that sort of fairly fun tension building. Like we're having fun with Samantha while we're also feeling tense, and I think that's a fun and interesting needle to thread. And all the performances I think are great. There's nobody that I would change out. There's nothing that.
Well, here's a crazy one last question for you.
Where's Nicolas Cage going?
Yeah, exactly. You can switch the two female characters if you want to in terms of casting. Gerwig can become the lead. Do you do so? Like,
no, because I think you wouldn't cast PJ Souls as Jamie Lee Curtis. Do you know what I mean? It's like...
Yeah, but it's a different proposition because PJ Souls can't act her way out of a paper bag. And Gerwig is both the bag and the actor. Yeah, exactly. Like, Gerwig's in the upper echelons compared to... We love PJ, but fucking hell.
PJ, if you're listening...
Sorry?
The views of Sam Russo are not indicative of the views of the Final Translation podcast.
Hi, Peach. Love ya. She's great, but
she is
that
great.
Thing that she does, she's not. She didn't make Barbie. Do you know what I mean?
She did not make Barbie.
Let's not give PJ Souls credit she's not due. Okay.
Yeah, no, fair dues. I think like Greta Gerwig was an actor and acted in a bunch of stuff. And I think probably quite easily could slot into that Samantha role, but like I think she's more interesting as the PJ Souls character, as the side mate, and
she does bring a lot to that role.
Yeah, and like I could see her as Samantha, but I couldn't necessarily see Jacqueline Watson be the other character, and like you wouldn't want someone that beautiful and ethereal to be like the goofy mate who gets her face shot off.
Yeah, there'd be a wayfish quality to that would feel like punching down way more.
Yeah, exactly.
Very cruel.
And like,
yeah.
Imagine a world where that face is the face that gets shot off. Like,
yeah, but on the bright side, we get to see Greta Gerwig blow her own head off. This movie's dark.
So I love it. I wouldn't switch them, but it could work. I would like to see, and I might be falling into like this fucking meta trap here, but I'd like to see, similar to like The Faculty, where it's like we'll take these characters and we put them in this situation. I would like to see a movie where the comic relief best mate is actually the main character and we're following their story.
Yeah,
rather than too. Like almost like in A Violent Nature, where we only see the point of view of the Crispin Glover character or whatever. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Definitely. That's what I like about Fast Times at Ridgemont High is you get to spend a lot of time with Mark Ratner and he feels like a sidekick, and that's really fun underdog stuff in that movie for sure. And I'd pay good money to see a horror movie version of that, definitely.
I think like if you're going to make a meta movie, which this ostensibly is, you've got to be saying something about the nature of movie making. And maybe a criticism of House of the Devil is that it's not really saying anything about the nature of making movies. It's just we're talking about satanic panic and we're talking about your creepy neighbors. It's it's the Burbs. Like,
we're not really talking about satanic panic though, are we? Because these are legit Satanists, and the phenomenon that's described in the movie is supposed to be real.
Yeah.
Like by ending the ritual, she speeds up the fucking lunar eclipse. So it doesn't even say that really.
Well, I
it's
think
just aesthetic.
like I think a lot of the movies of the time that were dealing with these moral panics, they always presented them as true. Think about like Trick or Treat and
Right.
like
Yeah. Inflaming it. Yeah.
and
Doing the devil's work.
yeah. So yeah, that's maybe another criticism is that it doesn't have anything to. It's not using the medium beyond saying, "Hey, I can do this," and isn't that cool? Which sometimes that's enough. That's what a good fucking kickflip is, right? Nobody's doing kickflip for cancer.
That's bizarre. I was going to say the exact same thing as what you just said. The exact same words. Yep, you're 100% right there, Jamie.
That is bizarre.
So what are you rating it?
I am going to give this 10.5 gunshot wounds to the head out of 11. I fucking love this movie.
Me.
And like,
That's a high rating.
I'm
drunk.
I think like if this movie came out earlier, which it couldn't have because that's not what movies are, not how things work. But if this came out at a time when I was more impressionable, this would maybe be my favorite movie ever. Like I can see
Wowzers, trousers.
I can see how it fits into that. I was watching it and I was like, is this in my top 5 movies? And I was like, I went through the list that I came up with at that moment of my top 5 movies. And I was like, I mean, can I say it's better than Suspiria? No, but I kind of feel like it is in this exact moment. So like,
But it's your top 5. It doesn't feel better, does it?
No, but like Suspiria is in my top 5. Evil Dead 2 is in my top 5. Like horror
The
movies.
Burbs.
Yeah.
Prisoner Go-Go.
Exactly. Killer Pussy.
Yeah.
Sexual Parasite.
All the heavy hitters.
Yeah. Meatball Machine.
10.5 out of 11. Zoinks.
Yeah, I think like I say, I think there's an alternative universe with a fading Marty McFly why this is my favorite movie ever. I think like almost everything it does is completely pitch perfect. And there are just that 0.5 is the 2 tiny nuggets of a thing that bug me, and that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wowzers, trousers, Jamie. That's a big thing to say.
Well, now you say your things.
It's fine. 5.5 out of 10. 5.5 possibly dead pizza guys out of 10. I want to know what the pizza situation is. Is it the son
Yeah.
at the end of the pizza line?
Yeah.
Well, then how does he make a fucking... Does he go buy a pizza and then bring it?
Yeah.
No. In my version of the movie, I like to think that's a real pizza guy, and he makes the pizza at the pizza place and goes to drive it there, and he also gets killed by the son, and we don't get to see that. So I'm giving it 5.5 dead pizza guys out of 10.
That doesn't happen because
5.
Tom Noonan is very specific. Like, here's the number for the nearest pizza place. Use this number.
Yeah. 5.5 dead Schrodinger's pizza guys out of 10. I'm not doing movies without a dumb take anymore, Jamie. I'm spicing up my life. Yeah, it's fine, man. I can't rate a movie any higher if I completely forgot I'd even watched it the first time I watched it, and it took Greta Gerwig's face being completely blown off with a gun for me to remember the movie. So I think it's cool. It does loads of stuff really well, but it's ultimately wholly forgettable. So yeah, fuck yeah. Good, entertaining film. Knock your fucking tits off. Good times.
I think if you wanted to engage with something entirely mediocre, you should check out at FT Horror Show on our various social media channels. That is on TikTok, on Instagram, Threads, and we have a Blue Sky, but we don't use it. But at FT Horror Show, any of those places, make sure you head there, give us a little follow. You can engage with our content. Lovely, lovely content. We all know your little content guzzlers, so guzzle a bit of mine.
There's always room for a bit of Jamie's content.
Exactly. A little
It's
Jamie
the Jello
guzzle
of the internet.
Exactly.
Yeah. Treat
It's
yourself.
always time for lubricant. That's a quote
Always
from Evolution, isn't it?
Oh yeah, good evolution reference there. Sean William Scott, R.I.P. Your career. What's coming up for you later today then, Jamie?
I'm going to make a breakfast burrito, as you so astutely pointed out. I've got
breakfast burrito and a Bloody Mary. Do it.
What's next for you, dear listener, is that you're going to go and rate and review wherever you're listening to this. Make sure you're subscribed and have automatic downloads turned on. And that's it. That's all you've got to do. Go to the Patreon if you have some spare quids. Give those quids to us. They can be dollars too. That's fine. And we'll see you next time for more of the same. I might not have a hangover, but I will still waffle some shit. In fact, no. Next month, the month of May, we will not be releasing any episodes. We're going on a 1 month hiatus sabbatical.
Sweet relief.
So I can go on holiday to Nouveau Eureka, and you can go on tour in continental North America, right?
Yeah, I got excited there thinking I just didn't have much to do in May and it was going to be lovely. No podcast. And then I realized, I'm going to be fucking insanely busy. Yes, I'm going on tour in the US and Canada. See you there.
Yeah, so we'll be back in June with more episodes. If you're from New York and you want to buy me a beer at a well shot, a Miller High Life and a well whiskey in a dive bar in Brooklyn, then make your presence felt. If you live in North America or Canada and you want to see a gangly man play some sad songs, Sam Russo music on social media is a good place to find out those tour dates.
Yep. There's plenty of gangly men playing sad songs. I'm one of thousands. But yeah, if you're in town and you want to come, do it. Who cares?
So we'll see you in June. But in the meantime, don't get shot in the fucking head.
See you in June, you horny toads.